reeds, and they can't be flimsy. They got to be good and strong. The best reeds you can find, the longest and the strongest. And they march from village to village, from village to village to village, till they get to the king house. And then they lay their reeds down. That's a rite of passage for the young girls. Is to make sure you keep your purity. Pride in your purity, to be pure. And it's a rite of passage going from one stage to another stage. Say it again. It's a rite of passage going from one stage to another stage. So for the saints of Yah, there's got to be some cultural markers, identity markers, saying that you went from one stage to another stage. All right, now we got these brothers over here over in Kenya. This is the young Masia warriors. They go, their rite of passage is real simple. Get a spear, go out, kill a lion, don't come back. You got to go kill a lion out in the wilderness. According to this book, it's a whole bunch of my thing. There'll be plenty of lions to go find. Group down here, Senegal, brothers. The Basari. This is called the Kori ritual. Separated from the family. They live in communal.
Yeah, that's it.
Communal homes. Separated from their moms. These are younger boys, 13 or so. From them going from boyhood to manhood, they're separated. They're training. They're fighting. They have to kind of fend for themselves out. No talking. They get their hair braided a certain way. I mean, plaited or plait? Plaited. They get their hair plaited. I always get that mixed up. They get their hair plaited a certain way. They got these festive colors. And then they have to fight a giant. So it's an older elder in their clan, and this giant has a mask on, and they're representing fighting the evil spirit. And you got to keep fighting. Even if you get your behind whooped, you know what? That's your rite of passage. You made it. So there are different cultures and heritage. They have a cultural identity marker for their group. So as Israelites or as Hebrews or as just being born again, going somewhere in Yah, what would be the rite of passage? What's my rite of passage? It got to be something. Rite of passage, what does that mean? It's an important event acknowledging one place in life and moving to another. So I've acknowledged one place, and then I've conquered this thing, and then I move on to something else. I got a rite of passage. The door opened up to me. I was able just to walk on out. I was free to go. I served my time.
That's it.
Amen.
What is the Hebraic rite of passage? The wilderness.
That's it.
That's your rite of passage. Every year.
Yes.
You won't believe that. Every year. There was a gap between the end of first fruits and unleavened bread to Shavuot. It's a rite of passage. You got to go through this before you come and see me. You got to go through this before you come see me. Amen. So the rite of passage, going from one place in life to another. They went from the Red Sea. Did I put that on there? No. They went from the Red Sea to the wilderness of Shur, Mahra, right? The bitter waters, right? From when the water closed, they went how many days and everything was good? Right, the water closed, they celebrating, they doing all that stuff, and they had how many days? 3 days, and they started complaining. So they made 3 days until this new thing is being set for this nation. This is the beginning of the nation. A rite of passage. Afro-Asiatic culture. You got to be born again. You got to be like a little child. You got to be like a little child to go from one point to another point. You got to go through this over and over and over and over. Because we got a kingdom. We got something that's not really here on earth. So from the Red Sea, the wilderness of Shur. Then they went to Elim, the 12 wells of water. Then the wilderness of Sin. In the wilderness of Sin, they went to Rephidim. Let's turn to Exodus 17. Exodus 17. See, when you serve the true and living God, it's all kind of stuff going on in the world. But you gotta go through your rite of passage. I don't care what else I got going on over here on this. You gotta walk on one of them mamas or grandmamas that got got pots. Every eye got something cooking. They got something cooking over here. Got something in the sink. Got, you know, it don't matter what I got going on. You worry about what you got to do. I don't worry about it. Yeah, I got something cooking over there too. They ain't got nothing to do with you. Exodus 17:1. And all the congregation of the children of Israel journeyed from the wilderness of Sin after their journeys according to the commandment of the Lord, and pitched in Rephidim. And there was no water for the people to drink. Wherefore the people did chide with Moses and said, Give us water that we may drink. And Moses said unto them, Why chide ye with me? Wherefore do you tempt the Lord? And the people thirsted there for water. The people murmured against Moses and said, Wherefore is this that thou hast brought us up out of Egypt to kill us and our children and our cattle with thirst? Moses cried unto the Lord, saying, What shall I do unto this people? They be almost ready to stone me. And the Lord said unto Moses, Go on before the people, take with thee the elders of Israel, and thy rod, wherewith thou smotest the river, take in thine hand and go. Behold, I will stand before thee there upon the rock in Horeb. Thou shalt smite the rock, there shall come water out of it, that the people may drink. And Moses did so in the sight of all the elders of Israel. And he called the name of the place Massah and Meribah, because of the chiding of the children of Israel, because they tempted the Lord, saying, Is the Lord among us or not? So Rephidim. Rephidim means rest, stays, or resting place. Okay? Now, a word that is helps make this word Rephidim is called Rafidah. Rafidah. That means support. Also bottom, I'm sorry. Support, and I should have bottom right there too. Support and bottom. So rest. So they came to a place and they saw no life. They're like, they got there. They said, Moses, bro, this is the worst place we've been on this journey. This place is terrible. Of all the places we done been, this is the worst. This is the worst. It's so bad, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you. Think about that. It's so bad, I'm going to kill you. Then I'm going to kill Aaron too. So, rest, stays, rest place. This is the name of this place. Then, so what word that makes that is support, or also bottom. And the root word, rafah, to strew about, spread out like a bed sheet. To spread out like a bed sheet. Now, what the Israelites did not understand is that there was something already there. They just didn't know. Where was the water at?
In the rock.
In a rock. So they get to a place and it look a certain way. It smell a certain way. It feel a certain way. It even sounds a certain way. This man had life there for them. He had untouched water for them. He had support for them. He had a place that y'all can spread out, take your shoes off, stretch out for a little bit. And they got there. You don't believe what children of Israel said. We hate it. We're going to kill you, and we don't know about you. We don't know about your God. We don't know about your God, and we're going to kill you. So Rephidim, the place they went to, was a place where Yah was going to support them, to recharge them, to refuel them. So in times in life, we get in these low places that Yah brought you somewhere, but He really brought you there to rebuild you, to remold you, to change your thinking. And He brought you somewhere for a specific reason, and you got there and you said, man, I hate it. Of all the places I've been and done, this is terrible. And He said, man, I got water at this rock. Who could bring water? Who could bring forth water from a rock? But that's in the book though, man. Who can bring forth water from rock? Y'all can.
Amen.
Nothing too hard for him.
That's it.
Amen.
What's going on?
Verse 8. Then came who?
Amalek.
Amalek. So when you tempt the Lord thy God, He say, you know what? Don't worry about it. I got a belt for you. I got a big up belt. I'm going to bring somebody in and holler at you. I'm going to bring an army in. I'm going to bring some locusts in. I'm going to bring a bill collector in. Your car ain't going to start tomorrow. I got you. Don't worry about it. I got you. I got you. So, verse 8. Then came Amalek and fought with Israel in Rephidim. So the place where the Israelites are supposed to rest, right? They were supposed to rest there. They were going to get support there. Spread out. Big old king-size bed there for you. All the space you need. It turned to a place of war. A place of rest. A place of support. A place of comfort. A place of water and life. Though it didn't seem like it. It didn't look like it. It became a place of war. Then came Amalek and fought with Israel and Rephidim. And Moses said to Joshua, choose our men and go and fight with Amalek. Tomorrow I will stand at the top of the hill with the rod of God in my hand. So Moses used to that. He used to taking that rod and holding that rod up. But God said, you know, since y'all going to test me, since you don't think I'm with you or not, I'm going to do a sign. But you know what? God's so much about signs. He does signs in the heaven all the time. So if I'm down here in the valley fighting, and Moses is up here in the top of the mountain, and if he's holding his staff up, and if every time the hand comes down, the rod comes down, we lose it, you won't believe what that is. That's a sign in heaven.
Amen.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. So Joshua did as Moses had said to him, and fought with Amalek, and Moses, Aaron, and Hur went up to the top of the hill. And it came to pass when Moses held his hand that Israel prevailed, and when he let down his hand, Amalek prevailed. But Moses' hands were heavy, and they took a stone and put it under him, and he sat thereon, and Aaron and Hur stayed up his hands, the one on one side, the other on the other side, and his hands were steady to the going down of the sun. Now just think, Moses, you hold your hands up, I mean, you know, if we was like, hey, if we had who would hold your hand up the longest? You know, somebody might make 2 minutes. Might make 3 minutes. Arms start getting heavy, so all day.
All day.
Amen.
And then the people who are help holding his hands up. But he had to sit on the stone, didn't he? It said Moses had to sit on the stone, legs start getting tired. Now you won't believe what the book tells us about a chief corner stone. Where all things are built off him. A chief cornerstone. That's why Paul talked about them rocks in the wilderness. But now we'll move on to that. Let's turn to Ezekiel 20 now. Back to Ezekiel. Ezekiel 20. Because all this is going on in the wilderness. That's Ezekiel, start in Isaiah. But this is not what is in my. We're supposed to be looking at. Ezekiel 20, verse 33. Ezekiel 20, verse 33. As I live, saith the Lord God, surely with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm, with fury poured out, will I rule over you. I will bring you out from the people and will gather you out of the countries whither you are scattered with a mighty hand, with a stretched out arm, with a fury poured out. And I will bring you to the wilderness of the people. I will bring you into the wilderness of the people. I will bring you into the wilderness of the people, and there I will plead with you face to face. What would you compare it to, Lord? Like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt. So I will plead with you, saith the Lord God. So God is going to gather the people and bring them to a wilderness and have a replay of what we've been reading. I mean, I hope this hadn't happened, because that means I missed the boat. We all missed the boat.
Right.
So God said, I'm going to gather the house of Israel from all the countries and bring you to a wilderness. And I'm going to plead with you face to face like I did your fathers in the land of Egypt. So I plead with you, saith the Lord God. And I will cause you to pass under the rod and will bring you to the bond of the covenant. I will purge out from you among the rebels, and them that transgress me. I will bring them forth out of the country where they sojourn. They shall not enter to the land of Israel, and ye shall know that I am the Lord. So what we're talking about? So he's going to gather up all the Israelites in the future. Y'all follow me? He's going to gather them up, bring them to the wilderness, and replay what we've been looking at. But he says that I will purge out from among you the rebels. So the people that are drawn out to the wilderness, there's going to be some wheat and tares. Huh? And he says, I'm going to purge out the rebels and them that transgress me. You're going to die. This is what that means. You're going to die. So he's going to pull out all the Israelites, bring them to a wilderness, and replay this. We're going to try this again. And the rebels and the transgressors, they will not make it. They will die. They will not enter the land of Israel. So he's not talking about what already happened. He's talking about what will happen.
Amen.
What will happen. So are we ready? Because his word won't come to pass. The sun was dark at 12 o'clock in September. It was dark. Night animals popping out. Some areas it is darker.
You hear crickets?
Crickets start chirping. They start. Night animals, cats' eyes go to their normal self. It's nighttime. Raccoons like, it's time to eat already. So there's something that's going to happen. We're going to be brought into the wilderness. Look what he said in verse 39. As for you, O house of Israel, thus said the Lord God, go ye serve ye everyone his idols. And hereafter also, if you will not hearken unto me, but pollute ye my holy name no more with your gifts, with your idols. For on my holy mountain, and the mountain of the height of Israel, saith the Lord God, there shall all the house of Israel, all of them in the land, serve me. There will I accept them. There will I require your offerings and your first fruits of your oblations, and with your holy things. I'm supposed to keep reading, sorry. I will accept you with your sweet savor. I will bring you out from the people and gather you out of the country where you have been scattered. I will be sanctified in you before the heathen. And you shall know that I am the Lord, and I shall bring you to the land of Israel, to the country of thee which I lifted up my hand to give it to your fathers. And there shall remember your ways and all your doings wherein you have been defiled, and you shall loathe yourselves in your own sight for all your evils that you have committed. So we talk about Deuteronomy 30 a lot, that it will come to pass in the latter time, right, in the end time, that the children of Israel who've been forced out by God, they begin to rethink or remember themselves about the blessings and the curses. Yah also says that there will be a certain time where I will gather you and bring you to the wilderness, and I'm going to plead with you like we did with your fault back in the day. And some of them will be rebels and transgressors, and I'm going to cut them off. And after they're cut off, you're going to be taken back to your land. And when you get back into, you're going to have a different mindset, your heart, because you're going to remember how wicked you were, how much you loved evil. You loved the things of the world. You loved the things that was the sacrifices, the devils, and you love this and you loved all this stuff. But you're going to hate yourself for all the things that you've committed. But he said was you're going to remember your ways, how you were defiled. Tameh, wasn't it?
Yes.
Tameh.
Yeah.
You're going to remember. But he said before that, I'm going to bring all y'all back to the wilderness. We're going to try it again. The rebels and transgressors, walking dead. We say it all the time, our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come. That's what we're looking for. That's why we nomads. We wait on the kingdom to come. We're walking around, nomads. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Luke 9. Luke 9 and 52, just hallelujah, never get there.
Hallelujah.
Remind me when I get done to a certain family member had a dream some years ago. I never understood it until Ezekiel 20 last couple of days. So just remind me because I'll probably forget. Luke 9 and 52. And they sent messengers before his face, and they went and entered into the village of Samaritans to make ready for him. And they did not receive him because his face was as though he would go to Jerusalem. When the disciples, James and John, saw it, they said, Lord, wilt thou that we command fire to come down from heaven and consume them even as Elias did? But he turned and rebuked them and said, Ye know not what manner of spirits ye are of. For the Son of Man is not come to destroy men's lives, but to save them. And they went to another village. All right, sometimes, well, I can't wait till y'all tear that behind up. You gonna warn them? You gonna tell them the truth? You gonna wish? What that comedian, what's his name? Cedric Entertainment. He said, black folks, we wish. We wish somebody's in our seat when I get to the game. I'm wishing somebody's in my seat so it can be a problem. But he said, but you don't know what manner of spirit you are.
Right.
So you want to see destruction. That's why I have a problem with some of these Israelites. Let me compare me to them people. Might make me say something else. Verse 57. And it came to pass that as they went in the way, a certain man said to him, Lord, I will follow thee whithersoever thou goest. And Jesus said unto him, foxes have holes, and birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man have nowhere to lay his head. Because you're wandering. Of course you're anywhere. You are a nomad. You following him. The Son of Man said, man, I ain't got nowhere to rest. John 15:20. Son of Man said, I ain't got nowhere to rest. Why you think you got somewhere to rest? Son of Man ain't got nowhere to rest. Why you think you're going to have somewhere to rest? Did we not understand what this man was talking about? John 15:20. Remember the word that I said unto you. The servant is not greater than his Lord. If they have persecuted me, they'll also persecute you. If they have kept my saying, they will keep yours also. So if I ain't going to get no rest, you ain't getting no rest. I can't be complaining. Oh man, you know we got a ministry now, got a building now, and got all these things, and my mama's not doing it. He said, man, get to work. It's a different area. The suffering, the pain, the fatigue, the woe is me to bring you low, but at some point, this man lifts you up. So you got to take it on the chin.
Come on.
You got to take it on the chin. Take a square on the chin. Gonna cry about it for a Son of Man. Man, I ain't gonna know what rest my head. Acts 14:22. I know. I'm not that. Acts 14:22, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, that we must enter through much tribulation, enter into the kingdom of God. He said much tribulation, didn't he?
Amen. He did.
Yes, we are.
So you have to go. There are certain seasons where you're going to be in that wilderness. Right? And sometimes we don't do too good. And we stay there longer than we're supposed to. If sometimes, you know, we on our game and we know y'all with us and we in. If some licks, if some blows, we out. But sometimes we're in there way too long because we forgot. We forgot. Because he led us there. You won't believe it, but he actually led you there.
Yes, he did.
David said, man, I know I'm going to be in some green pastures.
Yeah.
But for right now, I got to go through this valley. And that mugger shadow of death. But I shall not fear, because thy rod and thy staff to comfort me.
Amen. Thank you, Jesus.
Look at your neighbor and say, have patience
Have patience
in the wilderness.
in the wilderness.
We're almost done. I got you. Hebrews 13:5. Because if we can't go through the wilderness now, how are we going to go through when he come and gather everybody? Because when that happened, he was pretty clear. You're going to die, man. We're going to do this again. In that time, majority ruled. A couple of riffraff start screaming, man, I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, watermelon, fried chicken, Egypt. Then everybody starts shouting. He said, man, the rebels are trying, I'm gonna take care of them. So me too, gonna have to be like cognizant, like, no, I ain't doing that.
Yes.
You get away from me. Because I know in the book, he'll open up the ground and swallow you up whole.
What you saying?
This man is sending vipers out of nowhere. You get away from me with that mess. But you know, we give in to peer pressure.
Come on.
They got the gall standing on 2 feet sometimes whenever it come to him. We got the gall standing on for some other stuff. When it come to him, So we're going to do it then?
Ain't doing it now.
Hebrews 13:5. Let your conversation be without covetousness, and be content with such things as you have. For he has said, I will never leave thee,
Come on.
nor forsake thee. That's why you got to have patience in the wilderness. I ain't going to leave. Deuteronomy 31. I got your back. Hang in there. Just hang in there. Hang in there. Deuteronomy 31:6. And it reads, be strong and of good courage. Fear not, nor be afraid of them. For the Lord thy God, he it is that doth go with thee. He will not fail thee, nor forsake thee.
Amen.
So be strong.
Amen.
Daniel 3. He'll do it for us. You got to stay under His protection. Just because you hear gunshots, you don't just start running. This is a universal rule. You hear gunshots, get down. You hear a gunshot, don't start running. Be done ran right into something. Panicking and all out of control. Got to calm down. Got to be rational. Daniel 3:23. And these three men, Shadrach, Meshach, one bad Negro, fell down, bound to the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Then, now where they fall into?
The fiery furnace.
The Nebuchadnezzar, the king, was astonished. He rose up in haste and spake and said unto his counselors, Did we not cast three men bound to the midst of fire? They answered and said unto the king, True, O king. He answered and said, Lo, I see four men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and have no hurt, and the form of the fourth was like the Son of God. The Nebuchadnezzar came to the mouth of the burning fiery furnace and spake and said, Shadrach, Meshach, one bad Negro, ye servants of the Most High God, come forth and come hither. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came forth in the midst of the fire, and the princes, governors, and captains, and the king's counselors, being gathered together, saw these men upon whose bodies the fire had no power, nor was a hair on their heads singed, neither were their coats changed, nor the smell of fire had passed on them. Man said, I'll be with you in the fire. The valley of death, in the fire. Deuteronomy 2. But you know where their mind was at though? You know what they said before they got thrown up in there? They said, man, our Elohim, he'll come down in here. But I tell you what, if he don't, I don't care. Hurry up, throw me in there then. I don't care, you taking too long. That's how we're going to have to be. Because it was the king of Babylon, right? And you won't believe who Revelation talk about. Some whore of Babylon. Don't worry. Sorry. Things go full circle. That's all right. So he's going to use his people to prove a point.
Amen.
We just got to be usable. Got to be usable. Deuteronomy 2:7. For the Lord thy God hath blessed thee in all thy works of thy hand. He knoweth thy walking through this great wilderness. He knoweth thy walking through this great wilderness. He knoweth thy walking. It ain't like he don't know. We be acting like y'all don't know. We act like it just be up. But you know who that is playing with your mind. That's your adversary. Make you think you by yourself. You solo. Man, you a liar. We done read about 4 or 5 scriptures. I will not leave you. I will not leave you. I will not leave you. I will not leave you.
Amen.
And you know what we believe? We by ourselves.
Come on.
These 40 years the Lord thy God hath been with thee, that has lacked none. Now he was whooping they behind a lot. But he said, I'm still with you. And you got everything you need. Stay in Deuteronomy, 8th chapter. Stay in Deuteronomy, 8th chapter. Verse 2. And thou shalt remember all the way which the Lord thy God led thee these 40 years in the wilderness to humble thee. So the whole point was to humble.
Come on.
That was the whole point. And what else there, Lord? To prove thee. What else? And to know that I was in thine heart. To know what was in thine heart, whether thou was to keep his commandments or not.
Come on.
So when we go into the wilderness according to Ezekiel, you want to know what you know what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen then too, don't you? To humble you. To prove. To know what was in your heart. Whether you're going to get my commandments or not. That's going to happen again. So at least we know what the purpose of being back in the wilderness when Ezekiel 20, when that day come to pass. So if I don't make it, I'll make sure my boys ready. If my boys don't make it, it's got to be so pressed upon them that they boys or their daughters will be ready. That's what Abraham did. We started this thing off with Abraham. Following Abraham. Abraham didn't see nothing. He passed down to Isaac. Isaac lived like it was he didn't see it. Jacob didn't see it. My 12 boys. Got to keep that thing rolling. Stay in Deuteronomy 29 and 5. 29 and 5. I have led you 40 years in the wilderness. Your clothes are not waxing old upon you, and thy shoe is not waxing upon thy foot. But you know, part of your armor, according to Ephesians, is what? The gospel tied shawled tight on your feet. You need that gospel on your feet. You're supposed to be stepping on somebody's head, according to that prophecy in Genesis, if I'm not mistaken. If somebody's head, you're supposed to be crushing. gotta get up off our hands, on our hands and knees for. Your weapon is your feet. You gotta walk. Follow every. He walked. He walked all over that area. We're supposed to be walking too. The power is in your feet if we walk right.
Come on.
Mark 10. A few more verses and we'll be Mark 10. But you'll see, because it's just things going on right now. We just got to know. I had to say that for the very, very end. Had to go through all this to get to the point to the end. But you'll see why. Because it's for our day.
Amen.
It's for our day. Mark 29. I'm sorry. Mark 10. My bad. Mark 10. Forgive me. Mark 10, 29. And Jesus answered and said, Verily I say to you, there is no man that hath left house or brethren or sisters or father or mother or wife or children or lands for my sake and the gospel's, but he shall receive 100-fold now in this time, houses and brethren and sisters and mothers and children and lands with persecutions in the world to come, eternal life.
Talk about it.
I didn't make it up. I just repeated what he said.
Amen.
That's what he said. That was the first trial Abraham was get up and leave. That was the very first one. There is no man that have left house. But if you following him, of course, that would be the first objective right there. Your first rite of passage. Get up and leave. 1 Corinthians 4. 1 Corinthians 4 and verse 11. Now in this section he is talking about the apostles and how the apostles suffered. But there was something that just stuck out and I wanted it to apply to us. I mean, not just me, but us. All right, even to this present, 4 and 11, 1 Corinthians, even to this present hour we both hunger and thirst and are naked and are buffeted and have no certain dwelling place. We still looking for our kingdom. We still waiting for that. We still waiting. Till then, we moving around because we can't be stagnant. Ezekiel, 2 Corinthians 5th chapter. Second Corinthians 5, verse 1. We've talked about this before. For we know that if our earthly house is of this tabernacle were dissolved, we have a building of God, a house not made with hands, eternal in the heavens. For in this we groan earnestly, desiring to be clothed upon with our house which is from heaven. If so, be that being clothed we shall not be found naked. For we that are in this tabernacle do groan, being burdened, not for that we would be unclothed, but clothed upon that mortality might be swallowed up of life. Now he that hath wrought for us the selfsame thing is God, who also hath given us the earnest of the Spirit. Therefore we are always confident, knowing that whilst we are at home in the body, we are absent from the Lord. For we walk by faith, not by sight. So a lot of times you hear at a funeral or something like that, and that's really not what they're talking about. That's not what they're talking about. Because if you got something, if you got a home in heaven, because the kingdom is coming down. And when he comes, he brings his reward. And when he comes, you are changed instantly from glory to glory. You're changed. You're going to be like how he is. So you ain't going nowhere. We are confident, verse 8, I say, and I'm willing rather to be absent from the body and to be present with the Lord. Wherefore we labor that we be present or absent, we may be accepted of him. For we must all appear before the judgment seat of Christ, that everyone may receive the things done in his body according to that he hath done, whether it be good or bad. Isaiah 14, and we got Isaiah 14. Isaiah 14, we're talking about the wilderness. And this is the question. Is the world a wilderness? Isaiah 14 and 7. Let's see what the book says. That made the world as a wilderness, and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of his prisoners.
Where are you at?
Isaiah 14 and 17. I'm sorry.
17, thank you.
14 and 17. Isaiah 14 and 17. That made the world as a wilderness, and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of the prisoners. Let's turn to the Gospel of Mark. We're going to look at some things that we should be very, very aware of. And the reverence fear. A reverent fear, respectful fear. As Mark 1 and 13. And he was there in the wilderness 40 days, tempted of Satan, and was with the wild beast. So in the wilderness there are wild beasts, and the angels ministered unto him. He was there in the wilderness 40 days, tempted of Satan, was with the wild beasts, and the angels ministered unto him. So Isaiah 14 and 17 let us know that the world is like a wilderness. There are wild beasts, lions, wolves, jackals, and you are sheep. Never forget that. Right? He didn't say you were a barracuda. Okay? He didn't say you was a grizzly bear. He said you're sheep. Right? Okay. And one of the crux of what we had to go through today was to get to here. 1 Thessalonians 5 and 3. For when they say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with a child, and they shall not escape. So why would we go there?
Talking about peace. And there should be no peace.
Who knew that North Korea and South Korea had been at war since World War II? An armistice. An armistice, the only way I can define that is like you're playing a game and you call a timeout. And the game stops, but it's still a game.
Cold War.
Timeout. It's still a game. So they end since World War II. Japan, who was on the Axis powers or whatever, when they lost in the war, they lost their booty. Okay, booty as in their territory, their vassal states. That was Korea, the whole country. So when they fell, United States, Europe, they come in and they grab South Korea. China comes and grabs up North Korea.
Soviet too.
So Soviet Union too. Come and they grab up North Korea. So now you have for America, if I want to get at China, I got to go through North Korea because they're close to their border. Right? That's why Russia is very upset because NATO, United States, has missiles on their border. They got military on their border. So when you go home and when you get out your car and there's folks in black suits at your door, you would have a problem. Get out in front of my door. We ain't doing nothing. We just sitting here. We ain't doing nothing. And that's what's going on right now. So we just had a peace. And President Trump was very key in this. That's what they said. They gave a lot of credit to President Trump. Trump. No disrespect. President Trump, who had previously called Kim Jong-un Rocket Man, and there was talks of nuclear war and going back and forth, and South Korea's and America's doing drills, and all of a sudden, it's cool. We just bull jiving. French President Macron visited the White House today. That's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah,
Let
right.
you know right in front of your face. But you know, once again, so Yah is saying, you think I'm dragging you there. But the people of the Lord, you get ready. I'm getting them ready. You better be getting ready. So the French president visited the White House this week, and the main talks was redoing the Iran nuclear deal, which we got an agreement, and then I'm going to say, nah, I don't like it, and I'm going to rip it up. What you going to do about it? How many times you slapped in my face? And what's something else they also talked about? The Iran nuclear deal, global warming, even though primarily Republicans don't go, there's no global warming, but he's talking about global warming, all that kind of stuff. The crowd was cheering. But anyway, so, but point being is that we see the kings of the earth coming and getting together. Bless you. German Chancellor Angela Merkel comes to the White House also this week. Very busy week for global politics. Who were all put in their position by Yah. Let that be known. For a specific time, this end time that we're in. And she was opposed. She's not a fan of the Iran nuclear deal, but she's not going to try to pull it out from under because that will start war. So just been a very interesting week this week while we are in the wilderness preparing for going to the mountain. So the world is a wilderness, and there are a lot of beasts and there are a lot of things going on within the world, and the people of God, we got to be ready because right now we're shooting missiles, and we had all this stuff going on in boats and ships and submarines and bombings and attacking, and now everybody's cool.
No evidence of the chemical.
That's right. The WHO, the World Health Organization, they ain't seen nothing. They ain't find nothing. So all the people that died over a lie. So once again, this innocent blood is being spilled. So once again, the United States of America, how much can you do and y'all not come and holler at you? So for the people of Israel and the people who have joined themselves to the covenant, you got to be ready, because we read in Ezekiel how he's going to come and get you. He's going to come and get us, and got to be ready. Put in your notes. If we remember Hanukkah, during Hanukkah, we talked about this in Daniel, about how the kings would come together and they were acting like they were trying to do a deal, but they were really being slick to one another. Daniel 11:27. And both of these kings' hearts shall be to do mischief, and they shall speak lies at one table, but it shall not prosper, for yet the end shall be at the time appointed. So we are living in a time that we're supposed to be in. We're in a great time to be living in. It could be a dreadful time to be living in, because this time Yah has allowed the nations to have fire. He rained fire before. We talked about this some weeks ago back in Job, that Yah has fire and hell reserved in the storehouse for a day of what? Trouble. So he's allowed the nations to get to this point, and they're going to do what they're going to do. It's already set. But in the meantime, the people of Israel, the body of Christ, you've got to become sanctified and set apart.
Amen.
So we have to walk by the statutes and the commandments and the bare minimum, right? We even talk about being filled with the Spirit, but just the bare minimum, right? Is the obedience to the words and being set apart. Put your notes, Ezekiel 14:6-9, Matthew 7:12-4, 2 Thessalonians 2:11. Yah will send a strong delusion. They will believe the lie. They will believe the lie. So the second one was Matthew 7:12-14. The third one was 2 Thessalonians 2:11. And then John 43-47. John 5th chapter. Like you know, right? Like you're looking at my stuff. John 5:43-47. And all those just make reference to how Yah will put a lie in the prophet's mouth, and they'll give it to the people, and the people believe it. And this is just, once again, this is where we're at in our time. And at the same point, he's waking up a lot of people. So
Amen.
Yah's cooking on all these stoves.
Yes,
so,
he is. That's
but,
very true. Amen.
With that being said, thank you everybody for this message. And here's all the contact information: Restoring the Branches Ministry, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, or the website, and then also Restoring the Branches at Gmail. If you want to send us questions or find out about the meeting. Next Friday, we will start our first Fridays. Okay, poetry set. So to all the poets and people that's deep, okay, you got bars. I know somebody got bars. I ain't gonna say their name. They got bars. You got things to say, and it's just something to open up to the community.
Yeah.
And to be able to have a chance to fellowship and hang out with people in the community, and you just never know who y'all gonna drag through that door. Some gonna be drugged through the door. Some gonna be running through the door.
Amen. Amen.
because things are gonna happen. It's gonna make folks run. They're gonna really start searching. But we have to be stable. We have to walk and not wander from Him. We gotta walk for Him, not wander from Him. With that being said, all praise to the Most High God. Is it stopped? Yeah, you gonna cut it. Yep, you gonna cut it.